Whilst the titan known as the Marvel Cinematic Universe continues its fall from grace both critically and financially, two glimmers of hope were bestowed onto fans: Spider-Man No Way Home and James Gunn. The former was an incredible love letter to the Spider-Man franchise, putting to rest people's doubts on Tom Holland's iteration of the character. The latter, a talented filmmaker whose creativity breathed new life into the MCU once already with 2014's Guardians of the Galaxy, and was slated to do it again with Volume 3. With James Gunn leaving Marvel for greener pastures at DC, Volume 3 was either going to be a half-baked mess or an amazing fuck you to his former employers. It ended up being a little bit of both.
Man, quit playing with me, man. No, for real, don't play like that. Are you serious?
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is James Gunn's Endgame, a flawed but satisfying, heartfelt finale to his trilogy and characters, and the final nail in the coffin for the MCU.
It's about damn time.
Little disclaimer folks, there will of course be spoilers throughout the entire video, so don't say I didn't warn you. While Peter Quill still comes to terms with his loss of Gamora on their new HQ in Nowhere, Adam Warlock attacks the Guardians, fatally injuring Rocket, with the team unable to heal him with medpacks due to his body having a kill switch, courtesy of his creator, the High Evolutionary. They embark on a mission to get the data needed to bypass this kill switch and save Rocket, but with the High Evolutionary after Rocket and his creations the Sovereign Queen Aisha and her son Adam Warlock on their tails as well, will the Guardians be able to save their friend before it's too late? Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3's main problems stem from the plot, which comes as no surprise because weak plots compensated by incredibly riveting character work is James Gunn's modus operandi. For those who missed the holiday special, Mantis and Quill are siblings, Cosmo the Space Dog is now an actual character, and the Guardians HQ is nowhere.
Alrighty then.
The principal issues dragging the plot down are its pacing, tone, and structure. After Adam Warlock's attack injuring Rocket, the team only has 48 hours before he dies. Without wasting a second, the film perfectly presents the goal, stakes, and urgency to the audience. However, due to the messy pacing, this key sense of urgency continuously dissipates. The reasons for which this happens are either drawn-out jokes that sometimes don't stick the landing, or entire scenes that break pace without providing something substantial in return.
Betrayed.
The urgency only comes back whenever Rocket is shown suffering on the operating table, which Gunn uses to push us into flashback sequences, the best parts of the film. The aforementioned pacing issues and uneven script structure go hand in hand due to the story implementing a fetch quest element, affecting the first act of Volume 3 the most.
Hot diggity dog! This place is magnificent.
Despite the Orgoscorp sequence's beautiful creativity, it unjustifiably eats up a sizable chunk of the runtime without amounting to big levels of character development or major implications to the overall narrative. Don't get me wrong, it shouldn't be removed, but trimmed, having the extra time spent elsewhere, maybe focusing more on setting up Drax and Mantis' character arcs or further exploring intriguing ideas brought on by the High Evolutionary's mere existence.
To move forward and create the perfect species. I can't wait to dissect all of you and see what I can learn!
Finally, the last big issue that isn't exclusive to Guardians 3 but applies to most of the MCU is tonal whiplash. James Gunn doesn't manage to balance humor with serious moments, having most of the poignant scenes directly followed by unnecessary gags that don't let the audience bathe and process the tragic moments. This admittedly doesn't apply in any way, shape or form to the flashback sequences that are dealt with in mature fashion.
Oh my god, you're crying.
I'm not crying, you're crying!
The almost constant undercutting, although not as annoying as outings like Thor Love and Thunder, sadly plagues the film, not only accentuating the pacing issues, but pulling you out of the narrative as well. Not to mention the fake-out deaths that overstay their welcome, as if Gunn wanted a darker ending but Disney didn't let him kill anyone off.
Meanwhile,
I'm a motherfucking super.
Before moving on to the positives, I'll address what Volume 3 adds to the MCU and some of the more impactful contrivances that affected the film. 2 words: medpacks.
What the fuck happened there?
I can think of a few instances where the Guardians could have helped out with devices so powerful they can revert virtually any injury in an actual second. Now, the big contrivances. Why didn't Aisha take off from Counter-Earth when it started exploding, considering Adam can fly into space like Superman? Why didn't Gamora cross-check who was on the other end of the phone call before giving the Sovereign exact coordinates to track the Guardian ship? Finally, did Quill forget his rocket boots and helmet just so Adam Warlock could save him towards the end to join the Guardians, solidifying his character arc?
Well, that's just lazy writing.
Although many of the film's positives come from how Gunn handles these characters, there are some in the plot. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is one of the most unique MCU offerings, tackling somber themes such as animal abuse in an incredibly poignant and respectful manner during Rocket Raccoon's flashbacks. These sequences are what holds the film together, showcasing its main themes of letting go, self-acceptance, the beauty in one's imperfections, and the importance of relationships all through Rocket's heartfelt journey. Intercutting them with the main story helped elevate the stakes, killing two birds with one stone by introducing the High Evolutionary and his character while displaying him as an unequivocal force to be reckoned with. At the same time, this ties into present day where we can contrast his second introduction with Adam Warlock's. Adam Warlock is established in the opening minutes as a menace like no other, destroying every Guardian without breaking a sweat, almost killing Rocket Raccoon, using Drax as a punching bag and throwing Nebula like a ragdoll. However, just a couple of scenes later, when Adam and the High Evolutionary meet, the latter wipes the floor with him, making Adam scream in agony solely with the flick of a wrist.
Puny God.
In one fell swoop, this lets the audience know how menacingly powerful the High Evolutionary is through very well done, concise, purely visual storytelling. Moreover, this aspect is reused during the third act when Mantis, Drax, and Nebula are pitted against three obelisks, playing off the audience's prior knowledge of how notorious only one was to defeat back in Volume 2. On the protagonist side, we have our main Guardians with Kraglin and Cosmo the Space Dog as supporting characters. Meanwhile, our antagonists are Aisha, her son Adam Warlock, and of course the film's main big bad, the High Evolutionary.
I'm not trying to conquer the universe. I'm perfecting it.
Chukwudi Iwuji shines as the High Evolutionary, bringing gravitas to the role of a mad scientist on the quest for perfection, managing to keep him grounded in reality. His reasoning behind the goal of creating a perfect society isn't incredibly fleshed out and doesn't need to be. However, as an audience member, you'll learn to hate him instantly after witnessing his cruel animal abuse and genocidal tendencies. Unlike modern MCU villains, the film never tries to defend or portray him as misunderstood. He's just pure evil.
Straight up.
As is with most James Gunn films, character and their relation to theme are his strong suits. However, he dropped the ball with Adam Warlock, who never found his place after the first act, becoming a constant afterthought for the plot.
Whoopsie daisy.
Adam Warlock has the mentality of a child due to him being released from his cocoon too early, and Will Poulter, who admittedly was great casting, barely had anything to work with. Because of this, he played Warlock the same way he did Kenny, but with his native English accent.
This is great. I've always wanted a sister.
Get it off me.
Hey, come on.
Get it off.
Let go.
Get off.
Sorry. All right, come on.
What's wrong with you?
Don't say that. What the hell's wrong with you?
I didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable.
Despite this, Gunn tried to give Adam Warlock a mini arc, going from disappointing child who couldn't live up to his mother and creator's expectations to eventually finding a home with the misfit family of Guardians who understand the value of a second chance in spite of one's flaws, complementing the film's main themes of letting go and self-acceptance. These mini arcs also apply to secondary characters such as Kraglin and Cosmo, the former finally learning to take charge while coming to terms with Yondu's death by mastering the Yaka arrow, and the latter aiding him to do so with some enjoyable banter in between. It ain't much, but it's honest work.
I think Yondu would want you to have it. Thanks.
Since Endgame, our main hero's dynamics have changed a lot, with Quill and Gamora's relationship inexistent, Nebula now on the team full-time, and Drax having no true purpose after Thanos' death. The film does, however, build on these changed dynamics to deliver satisfying character payoffs, albeit with some more developed than others. Nebula, Drax, and Mantis find new purpose by the finale, fitting for each character. Nebula, a chance to become a parent figure to children seen as waste by their creator.
I will hunt my father like a dog and I will tear him apart slowly, piece by piece, until he knows some semblance of the profound and unceasing pain I know.
Drax, an opportunity to revert to his former self and be a father again, leaving the destroyer characteristic behind as his quest for revenge has ended. Finally, Mantis learning to stand up for herself and pursue her own goals, although Mantis and Draxus however can feel tacked on and rushed, only emerging when we've already hit the third act. Dave Bautista and Pom Clementieff are great as always when it comes to balancing comic relief and heavy moments, with their final instances bound to leave a bittersweet taste for fans. Groot's character sadly remains sidelined for most of the film, his complicity with Rocket now transferred to him and Quill. Star-Lord and Gamora's arcs go hand in hand, and with Rocket turn out to be the most developed of the film. Since Gamora left Quill, he hasn't recovered, getting blackout drunk regularly, and in doing so wasn't able to help protect his team during the inciting incident. However, he manages to pull through despite his pain, and Gamora rejoining the team, becoming the leader they need to save Rocket. In the end, learning to let go of the past and accept things as they are.
Such is life.
Gamora's dynamic with the crew is the same as in Volume 1, but this time constantly standing her ground against the Guardians and Peter Quill's advancements due to her newfound family in the Ravagers. There is no last minute change of heart, there is no fairy tale love story.
There is no Easter Bunny, there is no Tooth Fairy, and there is no Queen of England.
Chris Pratt and Zoe Saldana were good as always, and heavily delivered when it came to the emotional scenes, Pratt in particular, although it sometimes seemed as if Saldana forgot she wasn't on the set of Avatar.
Son for son.
As I said before, Rocket Raccoon is the heart of the film, and the character through which the core themes shine. Although he's decommissioned for most of Volume 3, his presence haunts every aspect of the film as we learn more and empathize with him through gruesome flashback sequences. Getting to see him interact with people he considers family other than the Guardians added a layer of depth to his character, culminating in a literal face-off, no pun intended, with himself and his past.
Lila, and Teefs, and Floor, and me, Rocket.
Finally, Bradley Cooper gives us one of the best Rocket Raccoon performances since Volume 1, putting his heart and soul into every single line.
We have been running our whole lives.
Pete, I'm done running.
Concerning the film's score, I'm glad to say that it is at times very memorable, and there are tracks I'm absolutely certain most will listen to on their own. Volume 3's music is very different from prior outings, with focus on a more psychological horror-driven score. This time around, John Murphy, legendary composer of films such as 28 Days Later and Sunshine, was at the helm, and he held back using Adagio in D minor, which came as a big surprise to me. It would have suited the film perfectly. The eerie tone coupled with its heavy use of electric guitar and haunting choral music managed to evoke a semi-constant sense of dread where even the joyous pieces retain a somber yet almost melancholic mood. Howbeit, the lack of the original Guardians theme is felt throughout the 150-minute runtime as it remains a key element of these heroes and their story.
That's a damn shame.
Despite its uniqueness, the score is incredibly manipulative, in particular to accentuate the film's tonal shifts, continuously telling the audience how to feel. As I stated before, the shifts in tone aren't always executed properly, so the score does the heavy lifting. One of many instances, for example, during the Orgoscorp sequence, Drax and Mantis are easily taking out guards to Earth, Wind and Fire's reasons in a playful manner. However, Drax suddenly gets critically shot, and if it weren't for the menacing boss music that appears out of nowhere, every person I saw the film with thought it was just another random gag.
Not a great plan.
Concerning the soundtrack, James Gunn shows us once again that he has great taste in music with Awesome Mix Volume 3, with artists ranging from Radiohead to Springsteen and my personal favorite, Space Hog. Its implementation in the film can at times feel forced and, as I said before, contradict the score. However, it manages to set the overall tone of each sequence, all the while culminating into an emotional payoff for fans with Redbone's Come and Get Your Love. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is visually breathtaking and arguably one of, if not the best looking movie of the entire MCU.
That's a bold statement.
The film prioritizes long tracking shots coupled with wide or ultra-wide angle lenses. Its use of wide angles consistently complement the incredible and creative set design, keeping the overall aesthetic fresh, with each act delivering its unique look and action set piece throughout the film. Firstly, the Orgoscope, a station grown from living matter, contains a sterile yellow and white color palette contrasted by the characters' colorful clothing. Not to mention the gooey design that extends to everything else in the station, from security suits to computer interfaces.
He slimed me. Feels so funky.
Secondly, on Counter-Earth, the color scheme changes, expertly blending warm and cold colors, prioritizing light shades of red and blue, which opposes not only the third act, but Rocket's flashbacks as well, whose usage of the same color scheme but darker complement the tone of the story. Lastly, whenever we're at the Guardians HQ on Nowhere, we're treated to a distinct neon palette. On the VFX side, safe to say it feels as if the MCU, and let's face it, DCEU's VFX outlets poured their souls into this, because Volume 3 has some of the best superhero visual effects since 2021.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
The film also uses many practical effects, including a fake Chris Pratt and actual built sets. Nobody looks like they're constantly on a fucking green screen.
Does that look real? In that particular shot, no, actually.
James Gunn, for the most part, retains great direction throughout, in particular when it came to the action sequences, especially the third act corridor fight. This one-take corridor fight is incredible and a perfect representation of the Guardians of the Galaxy as a whole. A bunch of misfits and bandits who had no business being together formed a powerful bond and would do anything to help one another, and whether they like it or not, every person completes and complements each other.
It's enough to make a grown man cry.
Finally, to bounce back on the lenses used in the film, whenever we switch from wide angles to the standard format, this provides not only a sense of closeness for our characters, but purposefully used to keep them and the audience grounded in reality, most notably during the film's closing moments.
It's brilliant, 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 I tell you.
Did I personally enjoy the film? Despite its flaws and overdrawn runtime, I most certainly did. I don't know if this is due to the fact that what the MCU has been putting out recently was so bad that Volume 3 felt like a palate cleanser, or because I've been a very big James Gunn fan since the first 2 live-action Scooby-Doo films.
I can look at myself naked.
Oh, brother.
All I know is I had a fun time watching a breathtakingly beautiful and creative film with great action, tear-jerking moments, yes, I shed a tear 3 separate times, and of course, seeing the MCU's ragtag family go out for one last ride. If you're a Marvel fan before it went to shit, then you'll enjoy it. However, heavy mature themes such as animal abuse may be a bit too much for some viewers depending on your tolerance levels. In the end, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was a messy yet heartfelt addition to the MCU that rose above its peers, delivering some of the best content Marvel fans have seen in a while. Nonetheless, it could have been better with a slightly restructured script, its integration of Adam Warlock, and finally, less undercutting jokes resulting in a trimmed runtime for a faster pace. Thank you all for watching and sticking around this long. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do subscribe and drop a like if you did, and hopefully, I'll see you all next time.